Up until the late 1700s, France was ruled by monarchs and the clergy. The structure began to fall in 1789. King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette were given a France that was drowning in debt because of the funding of the American Revolution, Versailles, the 7 Years' War, and the lack of taxes being paid. Pre-revolutionary France was also known as the Ancient Regime and aided in the separation of classes in France. France was divided into 3 estates. The first estate was the clergy, the second being the nobility, and the third estate was everyone else, including the bourgeoisie. The nobility and clergy only made up 10% of the population, yet they held 30% of the land. The first and second estates were also exempt from paying all taxes, meaning the third estate had to carry all the economic burden of France. This debt and unfair taxation forced Louis XVI to call the Estates General, where all the estates met up to discuss the problem. At this time, the voting was done by estate, meaning that each estate got 1 vote. The third estate always got overruled by the first and second estates, so they were never able to get policies and reforms to work in their favor. Due to this, the third estate pushed to vote by head, which would give them a majority. This idea angered Louis and the first 2 estates. The tennis court oath happened when Louis locked the third estate out of an estates general meeting. This is when the third estate officially declared that they were the National Assembly and vowed to create a new constitution on June 20th, 1789. Abby C.A. wrote the pamphlet, What is the Third Estate?, which discussed how the third estate is the most important estate, yet they have the least amount of privilege. He was one of the many enlightened members of the Third Estate, and Louis locking them out is what eventually caused them to come together and create the revolution using their enlightened ideas. On July 14, 1789, revolutionary forces stormed the Bastille prison, hoping to arm themselves after hearing rumors of Louis XVI mobilizing his army. The revolutionaries killed many guards and caused the governor of the Bastille to come out and try and mediate the situation. He was killed and his head was put on a stake and paraded around Paris. This marked the start of the revolution and showed how serious the people of France were and to what measures they would go to in order to create a new era. The making of the National Assembly helped spark the Great Fear, which was a short period of unrest from July 17th to August 3rd of 1789. Rumors that the aristocracy was going to overthrow the Third Estate caused them to revolt against the First and Second Estates. They revolted all across France in many different ways, and it was fear of further revolts that ended in the abolishment of feudalism. In order to subdue the commotion caused by the Great Fear, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen was written on August 26, 1789. This was the French Declaration of Independence and included many rights that John Locke previously touched on, such as liberty, property, and resistance to oppression. But it didn't include anything about women, free blacks, slavery, or the Jews. The ideas of this document were seen after the Revolution in the creation of festivals related to the worshiping of the supreme being of reason. Fueled by the new idea that all men were created equal, on October 5th and 6th of 1789, mobs of angry women marched from Paris to the palace in Versailles. They were armed with sticks and stones and were triggered that the royals were rumored to be hoarding bread supplies. The starving women managed to force the royalty to move to the Tuileries Palace in Paris.